Hello, everybody. I'm Will.
And I'm Kristen.
And so I'm watching the show, your new favorite pop culture YouTube channel where we talk about movies, TV, music, and more. I wanted to record an intro because we're going to release some very old test footage of ours that was Riverdale. We covered season 1 and 2 of Riverdale. And because we have had so much fun with that show, for better and worse, and because it's been one of some of our most popular content, I was like, we've got this footage. It's not great. Like, our audio's bad. Yeah. We look different. There is no set. Yeah. But I think ultimately at the end of the day, I think the conversation is good. Mm-hmm. And I think it's worth releasing.
It's in my old dining room.
So yeah, we're definitely going to release season 2. And that's what this is. This is just a little intro for our Riverdale season 2 content. So you got to have options.
I see.
So please do enjoy. I don't know if I have this in me.
Yes, you do. We got it. We got it. Because I have something to tell you, which is that this episode was directed by Gregg Araki.
I mean, it's not. Yeah. Okay. No, I just was going to be like...
It doesn't have all of his normal flourishes and stuff, but I just thought it was hilarious. He's actually been kind of gigging as a TV director. Mm-hmm. He's done a handful of episodes of a lot of stuff, and then now Apocalypse.
I just was like, I don't know if this is such... It's a timely episode.
In what capacity?
Oh,
the Native American storyline. Yes.
The protesting and the signs and the
taking
down the statue.
Okay. I was only thinking about the wrestling.
Oh no, we'll talk about the wrestling
part of it.
Remember when Archie was a wrestler? Okay. Well, okay, now you can complain about Hiram. I've been trying to reel you in.
This is when it actually starts for me. Because he's being a dick to Archie for absolutely no reason.
When, like, on episode prior, he was like, Archie's good to keep around. Or I guess that was when the Black Hood was still a thing.
I don't want to burst anybody's bubble, but the Black Hood is still a thing.
No, they got him. It was
they did not.
The janitor, Svensson.
Regardless, he just is like a real dick about it, to the point where he's like sneering at Archie during wrestling practice. And then he... a grown man.
By he, you mean Hiram the Ram Lodge?
Wrestles a child to the ground to make a point about how he's not good enough for his daughter, and that it's just a phase that she'll grow out of, and he can tolerate Archie until then. It's just every level of psychosexual nonsense.
Get the message. Always win.
You shuddered like once or twice. Well, what did he say? He said something about like boyfriends come and go, but daddies are forever.
He said fathers.
Oh, okay. But fathers are forever.
Regardless. Yuck. Absolutely not.
Also, I mean, they're not. Like, the parents famously die.
Yes.
So
Hiram will blessedly die at some point in the future.
Not in the next 5 years.
No.
Katie Keene.
And again, this is to say nothing against Mark Consuelos. He is doing a fabulous job of portraying someone that I want dead so badly. But he's just awful. Okay.
So, this is what do they call the day? It's like...
Pickens Day.
Because it was a general that was hired by great-great-grandpappy Blossom.
Well, nobody knows that until this episode, but yeah.
So in this episode, we find out that he was hired by...
I thought you were explaining the history of it.
Yeah, well, what was the history of it? Just that he was...
He was the one who, like, founded... Riverdale. But we've come to find out that great-grandpappy Blossom wanted the, like... What is Penelope called? The dark, fertile soil. And the maple groves and stuff. So... the Blossoms hired General Pickens to basically slaughter all of the Native Americans.
The Ukatenya. Is that real?
I don't know, actually. We did not do any research. Well, it's a real thing. Yeah, the horned serpent appears in the mythologies of many. I don't know that it's a real,
not a real tribe,
but it's a real Native American thing.
I think that's for the best.
Yeah. No, I'm sure. Yeah.
It's a fictional one, but no, this is the plot. I couldn't remember if it was this season or next season, but this is the plot that I was referencing when I was like, they do something with the serpents that's really interesting, and it's because, like, in their current iteration, they are, you know, a biker gang, but it's like they were
a tribe.
Yeah, they were formed out. The gang was formed out of a need
to protect themselves.
And so I thought that was really interesting, and I think having Tony come in and play this role with her grandfather, and they touched on, you know, a lot of very, very, very timely themes. Like
she didn't say the words, but she basically called Jughead out for being a white savior.
Like Jughead's white savior plot.
Yeah.
And I mean, you were right, because as we were watching it, you were like, wait a minute, was she mad about it first? Because she's the one who set up the, like, interview, but it's like Jughead really sort of, like,
he took it and ran. Because, like, I would say he wrote a very well-intentioned article, but it
frequently?
As it frequently is, but it was, like she said, it was not his place to tell that story.
And it certainly seemed like the people were finding out through the story. Like, if you're going to tell that kind of story, that needs to be discussed before and during the process.
Yeah. Although you would presume that copy editor Betty like let it go, but I don't know how much. I don't know how much control anybody has over the blue and gold, because apparently Kevin has been running roughshod over the publication with the gossip column.
By the way, I am really digging Kevin's new gossip column.
Readers love it.
That's pretty popular, too.
Apparently.
Also, so this is where it's kind of hilarious, actually, but Betty finds out somehow that Chick is a cam model.
Kevin tells her.
In spite of the fact that she already knew in the previous episode, but I guess her little brain didn't run any of those sentences through to their final conclusion.
No. I mean, I think she was like, he's doing something weird. I don't know that she ever was.
Well, he was like, I have clients and I make fantasies come true, and there was cameras everywhere and lighting equipment, and I don't know.
You know Betty doesn't know about stuff like that.
Well, Kevin does. Yeah. Because Kevin was like...
He's familiar.
Kevin calls him a video gigolo, a webcam boy, a cyber trick. And it's like the grandpa that's using like the old slang and stuff. And I was like, a cam model, Kevin. He's a cam model. Like, he keeps throwing things out there.
Cyber trick.
We used to give each other wet willies and funny arms. We'd play dandy balls and legs a spread and penis butt.
Sounds kind of gay, Grandpa.
It was gay. Everyone was.
Yeah, it just was so... It was pretty extra. Yeah, Chick is just... I forgot. I didn't forget. I remember. But it's nice that it holds up how just weird he is. I
think he's so interesting, though.
Well, he gives us nothing to work with. Nothing.
No personality, no, like, actual...
They're eating breakfast and he's like...
Yeah.
It's so funny. He's like, it is very like the Body Snatchers, and like.
Well, I think that's part of what I find so interesting about him, though, is because I think it was a choice on purpose, because he is very unclear of where he stands in this family unit and what is expected of him and what he should be doing.
Well, and
how he should be acting in this scenario.
The production is working overtime to make us suspicious of him, but then in this very episode, he's like, I need to confess something to you, Betty. I came in your room creepily last night.
Yeah.
Which is nice for us to know that he's acknowledging that was a creepy thing to do, but as far as Betty's concerned, he would have been fine to have just not mentioned it. Because it just sort of like...
I mean, I appreciate his explanation, because he literally is like, why would this girl come and save me from like whatever? It doesn't make any sense. But then he's like, it's a very Star Wars-y, like, I see the same darkness in you that's reflected in me. And it's like, yeah.
So, okay, what was back to Hiram? What was his issue with Fred? Because he accused Fred. Did Fred sleep with Hermione?
Yeah.
I knew they made out. I didn't know they slept together.
Oh, I just assumed. They dated for, like, most of season 1.
Okay.
I just assumed. We didn't ever see it.
He's really mad at Fred in a way that he's not... I mean, I guess he's mad at Hermione. He stays mad at Hermione.
God.
But...
It also, he was like... Because Archie straight up, in, like, one of his most like present and like
lucid moments,
open moments is like, Hiram, why don't you like me?
Yeah.
And Hiram is like, your father slept with another man's wife. I assume the apple doesn't fall far from the tree or whatever. And I was like, what a horribly weird thing to blame your daughter's boyfriend for when your wife stepped out because you were in prison.
Yeah.
None of this is about Archie.
Because also he now has Archie looking for apples. Like, that's going to help anything.
Well, he also has Archie looking for like crumbs of approval and affection from the wrong source because Hiram is absolutely... so now Archie's got an internship.
There's a lot of misplaced emotions in this one because both Alice and Hal are like off the charts with their... And because this is also where we get Hal and Penelope, and Penelope did have... she acknowledged the brothel.
Yes.
She said that there was even a brothel.
Back in great grandpappy Blossom's time.
Methinks that plot might rear its head again.
What? No. Penelope doesn't seem the type to open a legitimate brothel.
They also, for some reason, brought both Valerie and Melody back.
To have no lines, even whilst singing.
And play with Veronica and the Pussycats?
Veronica and the Pussycats.
So Veronica's just straight...
this is Sierra's fault.
Yeah, well,
Let's
it is.
be real.
It very, very much is. But in this episode, that's very much about like appropriating things. It's just kind of like, I don't know. It was very, very odd.
Yeah, it was not great.
I mean, I think we've said this a couple times, but one of these times is going to be the last time we ever see the Pussycat Dolls.
Yeah.
So.
But
the Pussycats. Sorry.
The Pussycat Doll. I feel like, though, they do not speak again.
So, yeah.
I feel like I was going to say one more thing.
Well, we were talking about the wrestling. We're jumping around. But Kevin... I like that Kevin's just, like, really passionate about wrestling.
I think Kevin's passionate about a lot of things. And I do like that Kevin... Well, I mean...
He says something that Archie has the body of a 70s porn star, and I was like, 70s porn stars are not cut.
No.
I was like, that muscle is like late 80s.
They're not cut, and they have all their chest hair. I like that Kevin is a good friend. Because he very rightly could be like, I'm sorry, no wrestling is my thing, stick to basketball. But he's like, yeah, I'll help you, obviously, win over Hiram. Whatever. Don't know why you'd want it, but...
And also just another colossally strange use of Chuck.
It's a good thing you're not in my weight class. I'd wreck you, gingerbread man.
Because I weirdly remembered him being in last episode with storming down the stairs with with Cheryl. And, Cheryl did seem open to the notion that this holiday could be
Yeah, she went.
Retooled.
She stood up with the serpents.
Yeah,
which was nice. It's like the beginning, I think, of some of
interesting
Cheryl's
growth for a character like her because
Yeah.
I would have pegged her as a double down type.
As a keep my statue.
Yeah,
keep my statue at all costs.
I think that I would have thought that she would have thought that all statues mattered.
Yes,
but
yes,
no.
Yeah.
No, she seems to be flexible. So,
I do think this is sort of a mark of when she starts actually turning into the Cheryl that we legitimately love
said for the 7th episode
today.
in a row.
No, because we've talked about how she's been really wishy-washy, but she starts to get some healing and stuff coming up.
So this was a much needed sort of transition episode. We phased some plots out, we phased some plots in, we're getting to the next stuff. Not necessarily good or bad. I think it was a good one. I remember watching this one. I remember enjoying it.
Yeah.
If for no other reason than Penelope Blossom just having her way with that candy apple.
Yeah, I also have a bone to pick with Alice Cooper specifically in this episode because they are sitting down to dinner before Picken's Day, and she's like, can't go to Picken's Day on an empty stomach.
She's insisting that
they eat an entire full, Mary Cleaver dinner, and they get to Picken's Day, and it is wall-to-wall food trucks. And I'm just like, why would you not go with the emptiest stomach to Picken's Day? This is ridiculous. Kevin is eating a hot dog that looks like the gods smiled upon it. It's got so many good toppings on it.
Well, and like they ask Chick if he's ever had a snow cone, which he's like, snow cone? Like, no. And I'm like, presumably crushed ice is something he would be very familiar with.
Why?
What do you mean, why? Like,
I want to know your reasoning behind the crushed ice.
He's poor. I mean, there's only so many things you can easily get your hands on.
And crushed ice is what. Well, okay.
If you crunch on it, I mean, has he never been to an Arby's? Like,
Arby's.
He's not the only one that has the meat, Kristen.
He's a video gigolo, a webcam boy, a cyber trick.
I just figure he's had his fair share of like crushed
just ice.
Yeah,
but it doesn't have maple syrup on it.
Sure, but I mean, he wasn't eating food, that we know.
That's true. He's so thin.
I was like, what a weird. It was crystal clear in my mind.
No, it doesn't make any sense.
I mean, it's literally water, so it's like I just don't. Like, if he had never had, like, triple layer fudge, Chicos or something.
But I think the fact that you were like, if there's one thing we know about Chick for certain, it's that he has fast access to crushed ice.
Well, he was living in a weird, like, motel thingy, and...
They keep calling it the hostel, but regardless... I believe he has access to an ice machine. That's not crushed ice.
He crushed it himself, Kristen. I don't know what to tell you. I just think of any form of frozen treat, crushed ice would be within his grasp. Sure, in a way.
But again, I want to stress the fact that he didn't have like stuff on it.
You
so
saw that
like
machine in his room, though.
Plain ice. Just the luxury of plain crushed ice.
So what? He's never stolen like a jelly packet from like a Denny's or something to put on his crushed ice?
Yeah, I want to see you make a snow cone.
Do you got any vermouth?
Just like grape Smuckers and like Campari.
We're done.
Okay, goodbye.
What a weird place to not go with me. I mean, you did. You went with me. I just had to...
I went too far.